My privileged speech today directly affects the independence, efficiency, and institutional strength of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan. As members of this august body, we are entrusted with the power to enact ordinances, review measures passed by our component local government units, appropriate public funds, exercise oversight over executive actions, and ensure that every legislative act of our province conforms with the 1987 Philippine Constitution and existing laws. These responsibilities are neither simple nor ministerial. They require sound legal judgment, timely legal guidance, and independent legal support. Yet, despite the magnitude of our mandate, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan does not have a dedicated legal unit and or legal plantilla position exclusively serving the legislative branch. For many years, we have relied on the provincial legal officer or the PLO for legal opinions and legal review. While we acknowledge the competence and dedication of our provincial legal office, we must also recognize that its primary mandate is to serve the executive department and the provincial governor. This arrangement has inevitably resulted in situations where legislative concerns must compete with executive priorities for legal attention. In previous administrations, requests for legal opinions involving municipal ordinance reviews and other legislative matters were referred to the provincial legal office. There were occasions when the legal opinions arrived only after considerable delay because of the volume of executive matters being handled by the office. Madam Temporary Presiding Officer, this issue is not about personalities. It is not about questioning the competence of any office. Rather, it is about strengthening institutions and ensuring that each branch of government possesses the tools necessary to effectively perform its constitutional and statutory duties. If we look at the national government, we will find a clear and compelling example. The Senate of the Philippines maintains an office of the Senate Legal Council, and under it are units such as legal and legislative affairs services that provide legal advice, legislative drafting assistance, legal research, and interpretation of laws for the institution and its members. The Senate Secretariat also includes legal personnel who advise senators and committees on constitutional, procedural, and legislative questions. Likewise, the House of Representatives has its own legal affairs department that provides legal support to representatives committees and the legislative institution as a whole under the House Secretariat. These offices exist because legislative bodies require legal expertise that is dedicated to legislative work. The Senate does not depend upon the legal offices of the Executive Department to interpret laws for its committees. The House of Representatives does not wait for executive lawyers to provide legal guidance before undertaking its legislative function. They have their own legal offices because legislative independence requires legal independence. If the highest legislative institution of our country recognize the necessity of a dedicated legal support, then surely the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, or rather our Sangguniang Panlalawigan, as the highest legislative body of the province, deserves no less. A dedicated legal unit and or a legal plantilla position of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan would provide immediate legal assistance in the drafting of ordinances and resolutions, legal review in legislative measures, committee investigations, municipal ordinance reviews, legal research, and interpretation of laws affecting local governance. More importantly, it would ensure that this body receives objective and timely legal advice focus exclusively on legislative concerns. Such a unit would not duplicate the functions of the provincial legal office. Rather, it would complement and strengthen the overall legal framework of the provincial government. The provincial legal office would remain focused on executive concerns, and the proposed legal unit or legal plantilla position would focus on legislative concerns. The result would be greater efficiency, clearer accountability, and faster delivery of public service. Madam Temporary Presiding Officer, strong governance requires a strong institution. A strong institution requires adequate support mechanisms, and effective legislation requires dedicated legal expertise. The proposed creation of a legal unit and or legal plantilla position within the Sangguniang Panlalawigan is not merely an administrative proposal. It is an institutional reform that will strengthen in legislative independence, improve the quality of our ordinances, expedite legal review processes, and enhance our ability to serve the people. As legislators, we have the responsibility not only to enact laws, but also to strengthen the institution entrusted with making them. Today, I respectfully urge this honorable body to take the necessary steps toward the establishment of a dedicated legal unit and or legal plantilla position under the Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Let us provide this institution with the legal support it rightfully needs. Let us uphold the principle of legislative independence. Thank you, Madam Temporary Presiding Officer, my colleagues, and good afternoon.